Hi guys, this is Rosa Kelly. So today we are going to be making a brand new mini album. I hope you guys are excited and let's get right to it. So hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I am here today with a new design team project for JS Hobbies and Crafts. We are going to be using this beautiful Mintay Love Leathers paper collection that I shared with you recently. The papers are absolutely gorgeous. I want to make a Mother's Day mini album, but these papers will definitely work for any occasion such as wedding, anniversary, or just like an everyday type of album. I'm gonna have the link to the store and all the supplies that we are gonna be using on the description box down below. So this is going to be a super chunky Gatefold mini album. I haven't done a Gatefold album in a long time, I think, so I am inspired to do one of those. I cut my chipboard at 8x8, so you're gonna need one piece of 8x8, and then you are going to need 4 pieces of 8x4. I want to make this very simple, so I'm keeping all of the dimensions for this album very easy to work with. So what we're gonna do is we are going to wrap all of these on some cardstock. We are going to basically put the 8x8 on the center and the 8x4s on the sides like these. I'm just gonna lay it down for you. So we are gonna glue these onto some black cardstock, and you are gonna make sure that you have 1/8 of an inch a space in between your pieces, as you can see in here. So I'm going to be using the 12x12 American Crafts cardstock, and I'm just going to join all of these pieces using a 1/4 inch double-sided tape. So I'm gonna do 3 of these cardstock pieces together. Okay, so now I have this long piece wrapped up, and what we're gonna do is just go where all the bends are, the joint pieces, and we're going to score the cardstock just a little bit so it's easy to bend. Okay, so I'm gonna do the same on all of these joints. And then we're going to bend one by one, just like that, and this one, and there. And there you go. So now we have the base of the Gatefold. It's gonna be quite a chunky book, like I said. All right, so now let's work on the hinges. So for the hinges, we are going to need 2 pieces of 7 1/4 by 10 inches. And we are going to score this piece. Let me do a close-up here. We're going to start at 2 inches. And then we're going to do 3/4 and 3/4, which is going to be 2 3/4 and 3.5. And we're gonna have a 1-inch gusset, so this is gonna be 4.5. And then we're gonna do again 3/4 and 3/4, which is 5 1/4 and 6. And then 1 inch for the gusset, which is 7 inches. And then we're gonna do 7 3/4 and 8.5. And that is going to be our first hinge, and we're going to do the same for the other one. Okay, so now we're going to fold along the score lines just to create the hinges. I'm gonna fold to both sides just like that. So we're gonna have 3 hinges on each side, as you can see. There you go. Okay, so now we're gonna turn this over, and I'm going to put together the hinges just by adding a little bit of glue. And I'm going to press down and to do the same to the other 2 hinges. Okay, and then we have one more. And there you go. And of course we're gonna do the same to the other hinge as well. So now I have my 2 hinges ready, and I'm going to use my 3/8 of an inch tape. You can also use 1/2 inch score tape as well. So I'm going to just place one on each side of the hinge. I'm going to do one side, turn it over, and do the other side. And you want to make sure that your tape is closest to the outside edge. And then I'm just gonna do the same for all of these. Okay, so now we have our 2 hinges ready, and we're gonna bring back our base like this, and we are going to place each one of these on the sides here. But when you do this, you want to make sure that the hinges are not going to be on the same location. They're kind of going to overlap, and this is why we're doing a 1 inch hinge. That way you kind of have the other page coming from the other side right in between, and I'll show you an easy way to do that. So basically we are going to start, let's say, on the left side, and instead of centering your hinges on your spine, we are going to place this closest to the left side. Okay, so the first page is going to be on this side. So now we're going to glue this down. So for example, on mine, I will have about 1/2 inch away from the bending line on the left side, and about 1 inch away on the right side. And all I'm gonna do now is just add my glue, and I don't exactly measure these, I just kind of eyeball the distances, but you can definitely measure if you feel more comfortable that way. And so I'm just gonna make sure that this is also centered up and down, and you kind of want to make it straight with the edge, just like that. So now we're going to score along the bending line again to make this easier to bend. So I'm just gonna go lightly with my score tool, and I'm just gonna fold this and do the same here. Okay, so just like that. Okay, so now we're done with this side, and we are going to work on the other side. So for this side, we are going to do the same actually. So we are going to have a 1/2 inch on the left side and a 1 inch distance on the right side. So we're gonna place our hinge like that. Notice that our hinge has a shorter side and a longer side, and that's how we are placing, that's where we're placing the hinges. So even though we are gluing these exactly the same, since they are opposites on when you close the book. You're gonna see how these pages are going to kind of overlap. So we're just gonna press down on here, just like that, and then we're also going to score on the bending lines. Okay, so we're gonna do this, and then we're gonna do the other one here. And so now we're gonna bend this, and there you go. You will see from the top that the pages are going to kind of overlap with each other. And so yeah, super fun to do. I can't wait to see it all done. So now let's work on the pages. So now for the pages, we are going to need 6 pieces of 7 by 8.5. I'm going to start by cutting at 7 inches. And I'm going to save all of my scrap pieces because those are going to be very useful for the pages. So I'm going to do 8.5. And we're gonna need 6 of those. And then we're also going to need 6 pieces of 7 by 7.5. So I'm going to do 7.5. There you go. So now we're going to use the large ones, the ones that are 7 by 8.5, and we're going to score at 1/2 inch and at 8 inches. And we're gonna do the same for all 6 pieces. And now we're going to fold along the score lines, and we are going to add our double-sided tape on these flaps. So I'm gonna do one here and one on this other side. And you're gonna do the same for all of the pages. And then we're going to grab the other piece, the one that is 7 by 7.5, and we are just going to line it up. And then we're going to take off just a little bit of the tape. I'm holding this here on the center so it won't move. Make sure your corners are all lined up, and then you can go ahead and remove your tape. And then we're gonna turn this over and remove the tape on the other side as well, just like this. And that's how we're going to build the pages. So I'm gonna finish up with the other ones. And there you go. Now we have the 6 pages that we are going to be adding into our album. I'm going to put this aside. We're gonna work on each page at a time before we add it into the book. So we're gonna start with the first page here. I'm gonna be using the scrap pieces that I had leftovers. Now these measure 12 by 5 inches. So I'm gonna trim these at 7.5, which is the length of my page. So these 2 pieces measure 7.5 by 5, and I'm going to score at 1/2 inch both of these pieces, and we are just simply going to fold along the score lines, like that, and we're going to place one on each side. Now these are going to be super easy layouts, fun to do, and they're also going to give you a lot of room for all kinds of pictures and different size pictures as well. So I'm going to add my double-sided tape here. So I'm going to place one on the left, just like this, and then we're going to place the other one on the right side. We're just gonna line it up, and we're gonna press down and remove the tape, and now we have these two opening pieces in here. Now because I want these to have all kinds of pockets and tags and things like that, I'm going to use another one of my scrap pieces, and I'm going to cut these at 7 3/4. So this piece measures 7 3/4 by 5 inches. I'm going to score 1/2 inch on 3 sides like this, and we're going to create a pocket inside the first opening page. So I'm trimming down the corners so the pocket is not too bulky, and now we're going to fold along the score lines just like this. And what I'm going to do is play around with some of my paper punches, and this is definitely an optional step, but I do want to put a pretty border on the top of my pocket. Here I have my border punch edge here, and now I'm going to add this pocket on the inside of these two fold pieces. So when I add my pockets, I like to use glue instead of tape. I just think it's a lot easier, and you have just an extra second to reposition and make sure that it's even. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to line up the bottom just like this, and then I'm gonna press down on the sides, and we're gonna close this. So this is gonna be like a fun opening page with some extra room for tags or photo mats and things like that. So I cut 2 pieces of my design paper. These were cut at 7 1/4 by 4 1/4, and I'm just going to ink these using my vintage photo distress ink. Actually no, this is something else. This is the brush corduroy, but you can definitely use anything you like. This one is just a little bit darker than the vintage photo. So I'm just gonna go all the way around, like just on the side and maybe a little bit more on the corners. And I'm gonna be doing this for each one of the papers that I'm adding, so I probably won't be showing you this step just to save a little bit of time. So I'm gonna do the same for this one, and we're just gonna glue these 2 pieces down. And I'm going to use one of these little cards for the center or for the closure of these pages, and I think I want to use the first one here, so I'm going to cut this one up. So I have this little piece, and now I'm going to use some glue, and I'm going to just add this little piece back here, and then I'm going to cut around these cardstock as well. Okay, so now I have this little piece, and we are going to place this here, and we're gonna make this little card spin so we can open this up. And the way I'm gonna do that is by using one little tiny brad. This little thing makes so many wonders. So I'm just gonna hold this together. I'm gonna open this up and hold this right here. I think I'm gonna poke a hole that will go through these 2 layers. So I'm just gonna go really slow. You don't want to poke the back right there. So I'm just gonna keep going. And there you go, you see it coming out. So now I'm going to add my brads on these 2 holes. And then we're gonna open that up and close this tight, and then you want to secure it with a little bit of your tape there as well until you are ready to cover this with your paper. So then we're gonna close this up by just sliding this one right on top like this. So that is our first page, and now let's move on to the back. I will continue adding the paper on the inside later on. So for the next page, I cut a piece of my design paper. This was cut to size, so this is 6 3/4 by 7 1/4, and then I have another one of my scrap pieces, and this is again 5 by 12. So I'm gonna cut these at 4 inches. So we're gonna have 3 pieces here of 4 by 5. And then what I'm going to do is create a little hidden hinge type of waterfall, and I've done this before, and this was requested for me to do it again, so I kind of wanted to incorporate it onto this tutorial. So what I'm going to do is go 1 inch away from the top, and then you can mark this with your pencil right there at 1 inch. And then since this measures 5 inches, you can grab one and kind of center it here, just like this. And I'm going to mark from side to side where I'm going to cut this piece. So you can either make a line here with your pencil like I'm doing and then cut on top of it, or you can just simply go from point to point on your paper trimmer. So I'm gonna grab my paper trimmer and I'm going to line up with the 1 inch here, and then I'm gonna go from those 2 points basically on top of the line that I drew. I'm just gonna go from here, and I think it's go from there to there, a little more, just like that. Okay, so now we have that first line, and then we're going to do the same cut 1 inch away. So I'm gonna move this line that we did 1 inch away here. So I'm gonna line it up right there, and then you're going to do the same cut. So again, you can mark it with your pencil, or you can simply just line it up with the first one that we did, just like that. And then I'm going to do 1 more inch up and do the same cut, just like this. I think maybe a little more. And then you can, if you need a little bit more room, you can definitely cut it with your scissors as well. All right, so now I'm going to score these pieces, these 3 little pieces that we cut, and we're just simply going to do 1/2 inch all of these 3 pieces. Okay, and then we are going to bring back our design paper, and we're simply going to insert these into these openings that we did. Okay, so let's see, hopefully it fits. If not, then you can cut it a little bit more, and there you go. So that's how you're gonna put it, and then we're gonna turn this on the inside. We're gonna turn it around, and then we're gonna glue this little piece down like that. Okay, so that's how we create this little waterfall without the hinges, if you don't want to see that and you want a clean look to your waterfall. Now I'm gonna do the same with the next one. I'm going to insert this on the next cut, just like that, and I'm going to go to the back again and fold this down, and I'm gonna glue these on the inside of the paper, just like that. Okay, and then I'm going to make sure that it opens flat as well on this side. Sometimes it needs a little bit of moving it a little bit. Okay, and then we're gonna do the same one more time, and there you go. So this is a really fun waterfall to make because it has a really clean look to it. Now if you want to create more, you want to have more spaces, you just reduce this 1 inch to a 1/2 inch. But yeah, I think it looks really cool. So I'm going to now glue this whole piece down to my base page. So for the next page, I'm going to be using this beautiful design paper. Now again, I cut this down to size at 7 1/4 by 6 3/4. And since I love this paper so much, I definitely do not want to cover it. I'm going to be creating a hidden pocket, a way it can be a functional page and we are still going to enjoy the beautiful design. So what we're gonna do is basically really similar to what we did before. We are going to create a little opening. So I'm just gonna go here on this empty space and kind of to the sides right here, and I'm going to create a 4-inch opening. So I'm staying away from the edge about a 1/2 inch, and I am going to create this line here from 0 to 4, and right there is where we're gonna cut our paper. So let me grab my cutter and we are going to line this up on the line right here. Now because we want this to be a functioning pocket to be able to put things in and out, we are going to need to make this wider than just this line. So I'm going to actually do 2 cuts, one slightly above the line and one slightly below the line. So my opening is gonna be about 1/8 of an inch. I think I might cut it a little too big, but that's okay. And it doesn't have to be perfect, and you can definitely fix it with your scissors later on. So here we have this little edge that we cut out, and now I'm just simply going to cut the sides like that and like this. And then I have this opening cut right there, and I'm going to ink around it as well, just like this. Okay, and like that. And we're going to glue this page down. Now it's really important that when you glue this down, you keep the insides open. So we're just going to add the glue on the sides of the page, on the bottom here, and just around, and then you can do the top all the way, but mainly you want to make sure this area is clean. And we're going to add this to the page. So then I'm going to use a little piece of my scraps, and this measures 6 1/2 by 3 1/2, and that is going to go inside your pocket. Now I'm going to make this tag a little bit more pretty by using my paper punch, and then I'm going to cover this with my design paper as well. So here you go. Now I have my tag, and that is going to go inside my pocket like that. I want to embellish this little opening by adding some of this pretty lace, and so I'm just gonna use my fabric tag glue. Any type of fabric glue will work really good for your laces, and I'm just gonna add this right there. So for the next page, I have 2 pieces of 7 by 7, and we're going to score these ones at 1/2 inch along one of the sides, just like this. And then we're gonna place these ones into our base page, and I'm going to do one on the top and one on the bottom. So I'm going to fold along the score lines, and one will be up and then one will be down. And because I'm going with this whole pretty edge, I'm going to punch one of these ones with my paper punch, and I'm going to place the one with the pretty edge on the top. So now I'm going to add my score tape, and we're going to add the pages. So I'm gonna start with the first one, and this one is gonna go on the top. So I'm gonna take off a little bit of the tape, and we're going to line this up here, and then we're going to remove the tape, and then we're just gonna do the same on the other piece. And then I'm going to add my design paper. So we're just gonna add some glue, and we're gonna place this one on the top. And we're gonna do another one for the bottom, of course, but I wanted to do the top so I can include something a little extra in here. So I'm going to grab another one of these scrap pieces that I have, and I think these are 5 by 12, and I'm going to simply score, and I have 2. So I'm going to place these on my scoreboard, and we're going to score these ones at 4 and at 8, and we're gonna do the same with both of these pieces, 4 and 8, and we're going to create a little booklet. So I'm just gonna fold along the lines and fold that one as well. So we have this little accordion fold like that, and we're going to do the same with this one. So we're gonna fold and fold to the other side as well. And I'm going to use a piece of 5 inches by 1 inch, and we're going to score at 1/2 inch, and we're gonna use this as a connector piece. So I'm gonna fold along the score line here, and now we're just gonna add it. So I'm going to glue these on the end here on the one side. So we're just gonna add the glue, and we're going to line these up on the top like that, and then we're going to add the glue on this other side, and we're going to open this up and line this up here as well, just like that. So now we have this long accordion fold piece, and you have all kinds of room for pictures here. And then we're gonna place these on this page. So now I wanted to do it on this orientation because I think it looks better, but you can definitely do it like that. It just depends on how you want your pictures to look. Isn't that cute? I love it. So here's that piece, and I'm going to add this onto some cardstock. Before you add it, you want to add a magnet on that. So I'm going to be using the large basic gray magnets. You can find these on the description box below. I have the link for these magnets. I always get tons of questions where we get the magnets, and yes. So I'm going to I'm actually going to put it here so I know exactly where it will go, right there. And then we're just gonna glue this piece on to your cardstock. Just give it a little black edge, just like that. And then I'm going to cut this side. I'm not cutting this out. I'm just gonna do the side here, is that piece. And then I'm going to score right below my image. So I'm just gonna go right there, and this is 4 1/4. So now we have this piece, and we are gonna glue this section down here onto our design paper, our design page. So I'm just gonna glue this. Make sure that you have enough room to put your accordion fold. So I think I'm gonna place this right down here, just like that, and definitely center it. Okay, and now I'm going to glue these accordion folds down to the page. So I'm gonna place it right here. Okay, so right here is fine. I'm just gonna add my glue. And there you go. Make sure that it's centered, so I like to hold that there so I know. Okay. And there you go. So now we're gonna grab another one of the magnets, and let's see here, I probably need these other sides. And we're gonna close these and make sure that the magnet sticks to the accordion fold. So I'm just gonna remove that stickiness and press this down, and there you go. Okay, so now we know where the magnet is gonna go. I'm going to cover this piece with my design paper as well. So maybe I'll use this reverse side of the same page just to give it a little contrast. I'm going to mark where I'm gonna cut this, and then we're just gonna glue that. Okay, so there you go. And now I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to add another magnet here on the back. And these magnets are large, so they're really strong, and they're gonna hold all of these waterfall pieces down. So we'll have 3 magnets going on in there, and it's also going to keep this bottom flap down as well. So I'm going to take out the sticky paper, and then we're just gonna press this down, and there you go. So now you have your page finished. I'm just gonna add the design paper in there. So I hope that you guys are enjoying this tutorial so far. I'm going to stop here for today, and then we're gonna continue with the other 4 pages and also decorating the cover and putting it all together on the next part. Please don't forget to visit the store, JS Hobbies and Crafts, and the link will be on the description box below, together with all the supplies that we are using. I want to thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on the next video. Bye bye.